Hello and welcome back to the podcast. All right, let's see what we got on the agenda for today. Aha. Welcome back to another day in the driver's seat of the Designated Designer, a podcast by designers, for designers, and clients alike. Welcome to episode 7. Oh my God, I can't even believe we're already at episode 7. And I totally missed a week. I've been completely underwater since the holidays have ended. I'm really busy. I'm working on like a lot of internal improvements. I'm working on a ton of business stuff, target audience, marketing, all that kind of jazz, and it's just consumed my life. So I was not able to get to the podcast last week, but we are back this week and I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to kind of share with you guys what the last 2 weeks of my life looked like and just share a little bit more of my journey. So let's dig into it. Today's episode, I will be talking to you about running towards your fears, not away from them. And I don't mean this quite literally. If you see Freddy Krueger or Jason anywhere in real life, run far and fast away from them. But I'm talking more about mental fears and mental health in being a small business owner and a designer and a creative and all that good stuff, and how sometimes running towards your fears is a good thing. So today's episode, I am going to showcase, drum roll, that I like to run towards my fear of client revisions. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, I said it. I love when clients have edits for me. I love client revisions. But what? I know. I understand that this is something that's really kind of taboo in the industry. And I feel like most outlets, most creative industries, you hear stuff like, you know, clients don't even know what they want, or clients don't know anything, or people like to scare you about endless revisions. And while that's really important, you should absolutely have it in your contract, very clear, cut and dry, how many revisions are included, because we don't want to be in endless revision jail. And if more revisions have to happen, you need to be compensated for that time. So that is really important. But I don't agree with a lot of the creative people that are like, you know, you want to get your process to a point where you don't ever have client revisions, or you want to get your brand pitch to a point where your clients don't have any revisions. And while that is something that's good to strive for, because we don't want to have our clients blowing through 20 rounds of revisions and having to pay an insane amount of money for that, we want to get them to the finish line as soon as possible. But that doesn't mean rushing the process. And I think that that's kind of something that's not really being talked about in the industry, and something that I'm seeing in my own little world. The point isn't to get them to the finish line without any revisions. The point is to get them there as quickly as we possibly can so they can get on with their rebrand, but still being cognizant and aware that we have to take the time necessary to get them a quality product as well. And I wanted to share my little story and my little journey with how this directly impacted me with the most recent project that I worked on, Ham's Lawn Care. So when the client came to me with Ham's Lawn Care and wanted to have me help them with their branding, they already had an AI generated image that they liked. So this was a really good starting point for me. But the thing was, I had to understand way more than just an image that they liked. So we started having a lot of conversations. I started to go through the brand strategy, and this was a tough one. This was honestly one of the more difficult projects that I worked on, because in the brand strategy, it's like, I tried this one direction. I thought it was really good, but it didn't stick. So then I tried another direction and I thought it was really good, but it didn't stick. And I was just having a hard time compromising with this client to pick a solid direction that both of us liked. And finally, when I was going through one of the last rounds of revision in the strategy phase, this idea just smacked me in the face, where initially, so let me give you guys a little bit of a background. So they want to target like family, suburban areas. They're a lawn care company. They don't just cut grass. That's a big, big thing. They don't just cut grass. They do these special lawn treatments, and they test soil, and they put together essentially a treatment plan for your lawn. And this is like really different and unique. So initially I was thinking like, They wanted a pig mascot. That was like their only requirement. I was like, okay, that's easy. Pig mascot, got it. But then I'm thinking, like, how can we incorporate this uniqueness of the company? How can we infuse the brand with this uniqueness of the soil treatments and the game plan? You know, this was something I related strongly to as a creative because we solve problems. So this client is solving people's lawn problems. And I just thought it was really cool to work with an industry that is so similar yet so different at the same time. So I'm like, how can I get this uniqueness in there? And I'm thinking maybe I can do like a farmer pig where we make the pig character look like a farmer to tie into that feeling of community and that feeling of like cultivation and things like that. And that didn't stick. And then I had an idea about doing a detective pig. And I thought, oh my God, I'll do a detective pig because they're trying to find the source of the problems. They're trying to uncover, you know, what is wrong with the lawn so they can fix it, so they can crack the case, you know, and I'm thinking all this kind of imagery and that didn't stick. I'm like, man, that's 2 in a row. And at this point I was like, you know, starting to doubt myself a little bit. There was like that little voice in the back of my head that was like, I don't know if you're going to get this one, but I was like, nope, not listening. I am going to figure this out. And in the last round of revision, I don't know what possessed me, but it just hit me out of nowhere. And I was like curious as to if the client felt lawn health accurately described their business. And I asked them, I chatted them really quick in Notion. I was like, hey, I was like in the middle of like a creative epiphany. I was like, hey, do you feel like lawn health explains your business accurately? And as soon as I saw that yes come through as a response, I knew the direction that we had to pursue. But this was just the beginning of the road. So as soon as I got that yes, I literally jumped for joy like a little kid because I am just so passionate about what I do and I was so excited to pursue this direction. I thought it would be cool if we did a doctor pig dressed in a doctor's coat with a stethoscope and a clipboard and, you know, do the pig up like a doctor. And I was so obsessed with this direction. I was like, yes, like I was so confident even before showing the client, I just knew this was going to work. And the client agreed. They were like, yeah, this feels right. This feels like the direction we should go in. I was like, yeah, score, you know, like, woo, little celebration. And then once we started to move in that direction, I was able to flesh out the brand identity. Now, this is where I want to talk about running towards your fear, not away from it, of client revisions. So I poured my heart out into designing this mascot, drawing this mascot to life. I put so much time and effort in. I wanted every detail of the pig to be as true to the vision as possible. And what I ended up doing was I did the doctor coat, I did the stethoscope, the clipboard, which later came to find out that they were really excited about the clipboard because they actually use clipboards in the field. And I thought that was really cool because we could go ahead and brand that clipboard to look like the one that the pig holds. You know, like that's something really, really unique to the brand. I thought this is really starting to turn in a positive direction. And went through, did the pig, everything. Well, I put glasses on him because I thought, you know, it was fitting to have the glasses on the pig and everything. And at the time I was using this really muted color palette. Now, this is where I realized how beneficial client revisions are. When I showed them the full brand identity with the pig, the way that he was dressed up, the colors, everything like that, it looked great. I was confident in it. But the client asked for a round of revision. And this is where most designers cringe after putting all those hours, all that time, all that effort into their design. And then the client's like, but I want a tweak, which means you have to go back and redo all that time and all that effort, replace it on every page because the brand identity pitch deck is like a 25-page document. It's a huge pain in the ass, but hey, guess what? Newsflash, sunshine. Everything that's work is a pain in the ass. And the only way that you're going to get to something great is if you do the pain in the ass things that nobody else wants to do. Okay? Hate to break it to you, but it's the truth. And when the client asked for a revision, I had the initial cringe. I had the, shit, like knowing how much work was ahead of me, but I didn't let that discourage me. I wanted to use it as positive growth and a chance to get better at what I do. And that is exactly what I did. When I went through and I did this revision, the client asked simply for the glasses to be removed. And when I looked at this, it gave me a chance, and they were like a little unsure of the colors because honestly, the colors didn't feel like they were quite there yet. So once I was able to get a fresh set of eyes, sleep on it for like a week before I went into making those revisions, because I do like to give myself a decent amount of time before I go through and actually do the revision, so I have a really fresh pair of eyes. As soon as I sat down, I agreed with the client. They wanted the glasses removed so that way the pig's eyes could be bigger and more inviting and happy and shiny. And they wanted the colors tweaked. And I didn't realize at the time, but I realized when I went to make the revisions that the contrast was actually drastically lacking. So I pumped up the colors, I took down some of the grayscale values of the lighter colors, and I pumped up the darkness of the darker hues to give a nice contrast. And when I put the two side by side to show the client the edits between the initial version of the mascot and then the revision that we did, I was so glad. I was so happy. I was so thankful that we went through and did the revisions, and truly it was like night and day. Like, I could not even believe how much of a difference it made. And someday, if I do start a newsletter that people can subscribe to, I will circle back and make a newsletter about this episode and share that photo with you guys so that you can see what that looked like, because honestly, it was insane, the difference. And at that point, I knew how important client revisions can be. I knew that running towards something that is initially scary and dreadful can actually prove to be a really positive thing that works out in the long run. I mean, I would have been sad, to be honest. Now that I'm on the other side of this whole brand project and I put together the brand guide and I wrapped everything up and I buttoned everything up and I sent it over to the client, I would have been so sad if I didn't make those revisions that changed everything and made it look so much better and improved so much. My portfolio piece wouldn't have been as strong. And being able to use that to show other clients what I'm capable of is also that much more strong because my client asked for a revision. So I guess all in all, and this is a little short episode this week because I'm still kind of getting back into the groove of things, but all in all, if your client asks for a revision, please don't cringe. I mean, initially you kind of have to, it's just our knee-jerk reaction, but take a step back, breathe, and realize that this is an opportunity for you to continue to grow and push yourself creatively. It's like the best part of an art critique. You know, we really need to start looking at it, because if you're able to have your client be a part of the process the way that a client should be a part of a process as big as a rebrand like this, they're gonna oftentimes have good feedback. And if they don't have good feedback, that's our job to guide them and be like, hey, we really don't think that this is a good decision, and here's why. Clients love when you explain things like that, or have an explanation, or have something to back up your claims. So if you think that something isn't a good decision, tell them why. And oftentimes they'll agree with you, but sometimes you will find that clients actually have really, really good feedback if you're willing to listen. And it really helps push you that much more and help you grow that much faster. So I think that it's a positive thing. Go ahead, run towards your fears, not away from them, unless, of course, it's a scary serial killer, then please run away from them. But otherwise, have fun, grow, and thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode. Hopefully it helps someone out there, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.